来空城生活，你才知道什么是真正的安静。
Living in an empty city, you realize what true quiet is. Staying in a villa here costs nothing. The beach is deserted, the streets have no cars, and the shops downstairs are all empty. Look at these rows of villas in front of you. They are all unoccupied. Here, you don't even need to rent. You can pitch a tent inside a villa and stay, and every one of these villas has a sea view.
A real estate agent in the video said, saying it's free was a joke, but the housing prices and rents here are extremely low. The biggest feature is how quiet it is, almost no one around.
你以为这里是内地的某一个小县城吗？
Do you think this was a small county town in China? No, this is Shenzhen, one of the most expensive cities in China, yet it feels like an empty city. There is world-class infrastructure, many residential buildings, and in the distance, a particularly beautiful beachfront park. There are also many five-star buildings, but no one is here. Look, these residential buildings are empty. The office buildings across the street are empty too. I just walked around the beachfront park across the road. It was empty as well. There's a beautiful sea view greenway along the coast, but there's literally no one on there. I'm standing in the middle of the street, but no one cares because the city seems abandoned. Can you imagine an empty city in Shenzhen? Sometimes you realize how much infrastructure in our city is wasted to an extreme extent.
A vlogger recorded the current scene in Shenzhen. Viewers commented, Shenzhen is especially strange this year. You don't know if people haven't returned or just aren't coming back. In any case, there's no one. Another predicted, in 10 years, Shenzhen will be nothing but buildings. Some cities in China are fully built with skyscrapers, highways, and shopping centers, yet residents are almost nowhere to be seen. At night, there are no lights, windows are dark, and millions of apartments have never been truly used. This is not the result of war or natural disaster, but a failed economic boom. In China, the phenomenon is widely known as ghost cities. The term may sound exaggerated, but it is real. Entire new districts built to accommodate millions of people often remain half empty long after completion. These areas are neither abandoned nor dilapidated. They are waiting for future population growth and demand. According to some estimates, China may currently have 60 to 90 million vacant homes, enough to house the entire population of several mid-sized countries. In some regions, vacancy rates exceed 20 to 30%. Many people ask, why would a country build so many cities with few residents? The answer lies in how China has pursued economic growth. Its rapid development is not purely organic, but the result of a carefully designed model. The logic is simple. The more that is built, the faster the growth. For years, real estate and construction have been major engines of China's GDP. New districts, industrial parks, and large residential projects are continuously launched. As long as construction continues, economic indicators keep rising. In this model, the most valuable asset is land. Local governments earn substantial revenue by selling land use rights. Developers borrow from banks to fund construction. Completed homes are sold to buyers, rising land revenue and property prices stimulate further borrowing and construction. This creates a seemingly perfect cycle until one day the cycle starts to unravel. The number of homes built in China has gradually outpaced actual demand. Investment replaced the need for living space. More and more people buy homes not to live in them, but to preserve or increase their value. Houses are no longer merely residences. They have become financial assets. The result is millions of vacant homes, trillions of dollars locked in real estate market, and the actual occupancy of many new districts far below design capacity. In some areas, over a quarter of homes remain unoccupied. But the real problem is not just empty homes, it's frozen capital. Behind every vacant property are cement, steel, labor, bank loans, and investment funds. Yet these resources do not generate corresponding economic value. Economists call this a capital trap. Money is invested but cannot flow back smoothly. When this occurs on a national scale, it possesses systemic risks. China's real estate and related industries once accounted for nearly 30% of the overall economy at their peak. According to estimates by international institutions such as Goldman Sachs and the IMF, the total value of China's real estate-related assets, including residential properties, land, and related financial assets, once approached $60 trillion, even exceeding the combined real estate market of the US, the EU, and Japan. Therefore, once this system slows down, its impact extends beyond China. Steel demand declines, cement consumption drops, commodity prices fluctuate, and global markets are affected. A half-empty Chinese city can ripple through economies worldwide. So why not just stop construction? Because the cost could be higher. The construction industry provides substantial employment, supports local government revenues, and keeps banks and developers operating normally. A sudden halt in construction could trigger a chain reaction throughout the system. Therefore, Beijing cannot slam the brakes immediately. It must gradually slow down, adjusting while maintaining system stability. Industry analysis show that in 2025, the average net profit of publicly listed Chinese real estate companies was negative, marking 4 consecutive years of losses. Real estate development investment fell by 17.2%. The sales area of commercial housing dropped by 8.7%, and property prices are expected to continue declining in 2026. According to the Chinese media outlet Caixin, publicly listed Chinese real estate firms were projected to report a combined net loss exceeding 240 billion RMB in 2025. Industry leader Vanke was expected to lose 88.5 billion RMB, while companies like China Fortune Land, Greenland, OCT Group, and Gemdale were also projected to incur losses in billions or tens of billions of RMB. Due to a deep adjustment in the real estate sector, worker protests targeting central enterprises such as China Communications Construction, China Railway, and China State Construction rose 79% compared with 2024. Starting in early 2026, wage-related protests across China intensified. According to multiple media reports, between January 27 and February 27 alone, over 270 wage dispute incidents were recorded, roughly 170 of which involved construction, real estate, and infrastructure sectors. Many of these incidents involve central enterprises, state-owned enterprises, and large projects including Shanghai Construction Group, Power China, CCCC Sector Harbor Engineering, China Railway 9th Bureau, China First Metallurgical, CSCEC 2nd, 3rd, 6th, and 7th bureaus. Notably, wage protests at these central and state-owned enterprises were once considered unimaginable. Below are some of the most recent cases. A user on X reported that the developer of the Zhongnan Shizhou project in Nanning City built a fake subway station to sell apartments. Now that most of the homes have been sold, the station sign is no longer needed and was removed in early May. A viewer commented, "The fact that such blatant impersonation of public facilities can persist shows regulatory authorities are selectively blind to developers' violations. They may have removed the sign, but what's destroyed is public trust. This is an extreme exploitation of the city's credibility." Another commented, "If such fraud happened abroad, buyers would not only cancel their purchases, but also receive compensation. The developers will be paying until they're bled." Another noted that local governments and developers in China are essentially of the same ilk. No surprise there. This is what the Chinese authorities refer to as a soft landing, adjusting while maintaining systemic stability. On the evening of May 9th, in Leishan City, Sichuan Province, over 1,000 residents from 4 housing complexes near No. 3 Bridge in the Central District staged a protest. They opposed the local government's decision to reclassify their household registration as rural. Residents said that one of the main reasons they purchased these homes was to obtain urban household registration, allowing their children access to city education resources. Being reclassified as rural household has been unacceptable for many, especially those who have spent years of savings and are still paying mortgages. One user commented that in recent years, many people from towns and even rural areas were misled into buying property. Many lost their life savings, pouring decades of earnings into China's real estate bottomless pit. Observers say the authorities have run out of options. On May 9th, in Sanya City, Hainan Province, another violent forced demolition occurred. Video footage shows a male villager standing on the rooftop holding a gas cylinder, attempting to stop the demolition crew by threatening mutual destruction. Commentators wrote, "The demolition crew outnumbered US troops and has better equipment. If the cameras weren't filming, they would have used force already." Other users noted that the authorities are still trying to prop up the real estate market. Local governments, banks, developers, and related enterprises continue to struggle, but with tight funding and pessimistic market expectations, they are forced to take increasingly extreme measures to reduce development cost. Cases of forcibly demolishing residents' homes or seizing farmers' land are becoming more frequent. Facing a crisis in the real estate and construction sector, Beijing has recently offered a new explanation. Many ghost cities were never intended to be fully populated immediately. China's long-term push for large-scale urbanization aimed to relocate hundreds of millions to cities. Therefore, the government often builds roads, housing, and infrastructure first, waiting for people and industries to gradually move in. However, this explanation is difficult to support. Most new district promoted by Beijing struggles to succeed, especially in small and medium-sized areas with few jobs and declining populations, many ending as incomplete projects. China's biggest current problem is that official data shows population growth has clearly slowed and many continue to decline. Today, Beijing faces the reality of increasing housing while the potential buying population continues shrinking. China's true population data has long been one of Beijing's top secret. Several users commented this year. Have you noticed something? We used to have 1.2 billion people, and no matter where you went, everywhere was crowded and lively. I don't know if it's my imagination, but it seems like Shanghai's population has decreased a lot. China has 1.4 billion people and Dongguan has over 10 million, yet the streets are empty and shops have no customers. Where has everyone gone? China's official statistics bureau released data on January 17th claiming that China's population at the end of 2024 was 1.400828 billion, a decrease of 1.39 million from the end of 2023. Using the official data, some applied Elon Musk's AI model Grok 3 to analyze multiple factors including consumption patterns during the Chinese New Year and estimated that from 2020 to 2023, China's population decreased by 150 to 200 million. Commentators say that although this is indirect analysis, it is enough to suggest falsification by the Chinese government. Mr. Xing, a commentator based in the US, stated the AI simply organizes information that Beijing allows to be visible and makes estimates using a model. Its data still differs significantly from reality, but this AI output shows that the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is falsifying and concealing information. Multiple sources indicate that due to several years of the pandemic and extreme lockdowns, China's population has sharply decreased by at least 400 million in just a few years. The country's actual population is estimated at around 1 billion or even less. Observers generally believe that the CCP has gone to great lengths to conceal the pandemic and population losses to protect its regime, fearing that mass death could spark public unrest and social instability. There are many cases where people have moved out of entire towns. Let's look at a real-life case that Chinese netizens called a real-world apocalypse. A Douyin blogger said during a live stream in a small town,
我无论如何都不敢相信，这竟然是现实版的末日世界。
I simply cannot believe it. At its peak, this town had more than 30,000 residents. Now, it is completely abandoned. Some of the buildings look pristine from the outside, yet inside, only a single family lives in them. The entire town now has just 10 people.
The video shows a town that appears intact on the surface but is almost entirely abandoned. Tall buildings rise along wide streets lined with shops, yet walking through, there are barely any people. Doors and windows are broken, weeds overgrown, and the only sound in the air is plastic flapping in the wind. As if stepping into a post-apocalyptic world. The blogger explained that the town is only 40 kilometers from Xinyu City, Jiangxi Province. Upon entering, the first thing that appear are large Xinhua bookstore, hotels, restaurants, and the entire commercial street. Facilities such as barbershops, clothing stores, supermarkets, clinics, and cinemas are all present. It's clear that the town was once very prosperous. According to local residents, at its peak, about 30,000 people lived and worked here, earning it the nickname Little Hong Kong. Wages in the mining area were high, attracting many people from surrounding regions to work and settle. At night, the town was brightly lit with lively KTVs, bars, foot spas, restaurants, and cinemas. There were hospitals and schools that provided education from elementary through to high school. Quite rare at that time. Now all of this is history. Shutters on the commercial streets are rusted, billboards are faded, and the cinema's ticket window remains with old movie posters on the walls. Many apartment doors are open, furniture left in place, as if the owners stepped out temporarily but never returned. Near the miner's home, the videographer finally found an explanation. A notice on the wall indicated that the town was once under the Jiangxi Energy Group. The document explained that due to government efforts to reduce excess coal capacity, the company resettled workers, including early retirement and lump sum payments covering several years of living expenses. In other words, this town originally depended entirely on coal mining for survival. Around 2016, the mines closed, either due to resource depletion or national policies to reduce excess capacity, and the entire region lost its economic backbone. Many workers were reassigned or retired. Young people left to seek livelihoods elsewhere. Businesses shuttered, and schools, hospitals, and entertainment venues gradually closed. A local elder said that only a very small number of residents, mainly retired workers, now live permanently in the mining area. Some factories and houses are sporadically rented, but the vast majority of buildings are unused. Looking out over the residential areas built along the mountains, entire blocks of buildings stand silently, bearing witness to the town's former glory and prosperity, as well as the rapid decline of a resource-based city after losing its industrial support. This abandoned town did not suffer a disaster. It is a typical resource-based community. When the mines close and people leave, even the grandest city can become empty within just a few years. The video has nearly 20,000 comments. One read, "This town is called Yanqiao Coal Mine. I grew up here, attending school from kindergarten through high school. It's only been abandoned for about 10 years. Another commented, "That's nothing. The tin mines in Lenshuijiang City, Hunan Province once had 200,000 people at their peak. The area was similar in size to this town. Now, not a single person remains." Analysts say that what Chinese ghost cities truly represent is not just empty buildings, but the remnant of a once aggressive growth model, financial incentives, and an economy built on land and debt. With China's overall economy in irreversible decline and compounded by sharp population decreases, economic anomalies such as ghost cities are likely to become increasingly common. As for Beijing's explanation and expectations, ghost cities and some uninhabited new districts were built for the future. The answer seems obvious. It's not impossible, but the premise would have to be that the CCP has disappeared from China. Only then will the population, the economy, and cities revive and regain vitality.